don't follow the traditional methods. Most traditional methods are made for individuals that can't think it through. So this is small, but it actually is incredibly powerful to understand the difference between just simply saving into a 401k or an IRA, following the lump sum method where I'm just trying to accumulate a bunch of money and then take a 4% return in retirement, versus taking the same amount of funds and then putting them into an asset and what that asset can mean. If you take $500 every single month and you put it into a traditional Roth IRA, saving about $6,000 a year, and you do that over a course of, let's say, 30 years, not from a calculator, but you're going to get about $1 million. That $1 million will yield you at a 4% rule, which is a general rule by most financial planners, will tell you to take 4% of that amount out, because that amount can go up and down, and you don't want to take out too much of it because you can take out too much and then run out of money during your retirement. Then once you take out 4%, which would be $40,000 a year or $3,000 a month. If you were to do that, plus with Social Security, you'll have about $4,000 to $5,000. And if you had no mortgage, no car, no whatever, and you were on Medicaid, that would be perfectly acceptable if you didn't want to live a good life. The opposite of that is the cash flow method. And the cash flow method is a little bit different in that it requires you to purchase assets. And so those assets then produce you a certain amount of cash flow, and then you use that cash flow to fund your retirement. So an example of a rental, maybe you buy a rental, you rent it out for $2,000 a month, the mortgage and all expenses is $1,500 a month, and you make $500 a month in cash flow. You use that cash flow, multiply that by 10, 15, 20 rentals, you make that amount, pays for your living expenses in retirement, which obviously can be significantly more depending on the properties that you purchase. The reason why this is important is because of the compounding effect of actually cash flow and earning and being able to distribute some of the amount of money that you get initially doing the cash flow method. If I put $500 into an IRA, it's gone. I can't use it until I'm 65 or whenever I decide to take that out. However, if I take the $500 and I save, let's say, $6,000 the first year, I can't buy much with that. But on my second year, I could potentially, at a 3% down, get into a property with about $12,000 available. And that's using an FHA, 3% down, maybe even some of the government assistance that's out there, down payment assistance, whatever, doing an owner occupied, and then potentially renting out a couple of the rooms. If I was to do that and to put that money into a property, in general, in most cases, you're going to get about $500-600 for a property. Can't go into too much detail, but that's about what you get. The point is if I am able to save $500 a month, if I just put that into an IRA, I'm only going to be saving the $500 a month. However, if I took the $500 a month and I put that and saved it for 2 years, instead of putting it into an IRA, and instead I bought an asset like a rental property, and that rental property earned me an additional $500 a month, by year 3, I now have $1,000 that I can actually use to put towards my retirement. I can take that $1,000 and I can actually save $12,000 a year because I have double the amount of money coming in. And so what that means is maybe I can purchase a house every year or every 2 years, or maybe I could just take the $1,000 and put it into an IRA. Heck, to be honest, I could take the cash flow, $500 from the rental property, max out my traditional IRA following the lump sum method, and take the $500 that I normally would make from my income and take that to then go buy another rental, doing both strategies at the exact same time. The point is, don't follow the traditional methods. Most traditional methods are made for individuals that can't think it through, that are too weak to necessarily save that amount of money, or CFPs just don't necessarily want to make it complicated. You have to get with somebody that's actually created generational wealth to help you in these little nuances that can be the difference of you having $1 million and living off $3,000 a month Social Security versus having $60, $70, or $100,000 a month in retirement.